Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 5 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 5 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter decimals. And the lessons we're going to cover today are compare decimals and fractions on number line, compare decimals and fractions, number sequences involving fractions, repeating decimals, and put assorted decimals, fractions, and mix orders in. Let's just start with the lesson. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So the first lesson is compare decimals and fractions on number line. Okay, so you are given graph 3 over 10 and zero point 0.5 on the number line, right? So you have to graph 3 by 10 and zero point 0.5 on the same number line, right? So you can convert 3 by 10 to the decimal also, right? So when you convert 3 by 10 to decimal, that is zero point 0.3, right? So you can make zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.5 on the same number line, like you cannot, if they are in the different form, like one of them is fraction and one of them is decimal, so you cannot draw them on the same number line. So if you want to draw on the same number line, they both must be in the same form, right? So you need to convert both of them in the decimal. So zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.5, here is the number line that have zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.5. You need to see which one is closer to 0. So 0.3 is closer to 0. That means 3 by 10 is closer to 0. Got it? Let's just with the test questions. Kayla, Corey, and Key, can you please writing messages? Graph zero point 0.1 and 6 over 10 on the number line. So you have to graph zero point 0.1 and 6 by 10. So you cannot graph until they are in the same form, right? You have one of them is 6 by 10 and one of them is zero point 0.1. So you need to convert that 6 by 10 to decimal also. When you convert that 6 by 10 to decimal, that is zero point 0.6. Now you can draw zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.6 on the same number line. That is zero point 0.1. Here is zero point 0.1 and here is zero point 0.6. You need to see which one is closer to B, which one is closer to 1. So which is the correct option? Patch, can you please stop talking and focus on the lesson we are working on? 0.1 is closer to 0. The correct option is zero point 0.1. That is closer to 0. Got it? The next one is 8 over 10 and zero point 0.2 on the same number line. Which number is closer to 1? So which is the correct option? You cannot you cannot graph a fraction and a decimal on the same number line, right? So you need to convert the fraction into decimal also. You have to convert 8 by 10 to fraction. So when you convert 8 by 10 to fraction, that would be 0.8. So here is 0.8 and here is 0.2. So which is closer to 1? Which is closer to 1, not 0? Here is 1. 0.8 is closer to 1, isn't it? That is 0.8 or 8 over 10. You need to see which one is closer to 1, not 0. That is 0.8 or 8 over 10. Why don't you listen to me carefully? What's wrong with you guys? What are you doing? Graph 3 and 0 over 5 on the 0.5 on the number line. Which is closer to 0? Which is the correct option? 0.3 or 3 over 10 is closer to 0, right? Here is 0. When you plot them on the graph, here is 0.3 and here is 0.5. So 3 by 10 is closer to 0. Graph 0.4 and 6 by 10 on the number line. Which number is closer to 0? Yes, 0.4 is closer to 0. The correct option is 0.4. Okay, graph 1 by 10 and 0.9 on the number line. So which is closer to 0? Which is the correct option? Which is closer to 0? Yes, that is 1 over 10 or 0.1 is closer to 0, right? Graph 2 over 10 and 0.7 on the number line. So which correct option? Yes, the correct option is which is closer to 1. Yes, 0.7 is closer to 1. The correct option is 0.7, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Later today, we are working on the decimals. Where are the fractions? We are working on the decimals and we are comparing the decimals and the fractions. must have to compare you must have to compare the fraction into decimal, and that's how you have to compare. Like, you cannot convert two different things. Both of them must be a decimal, right? So you need to convert the fraction into decimal, and then you have to compare. Okay, the next lesson is compare decimals and fractions. Now you have to compare them without the um, uh, number line, right? Let's just start with the first example. Sign makes the statement true. You have zero point 0.3 and 89 over 100. Again, you have that's exactly the same thing we have covered in the last lesson, right? So Okafar and the one who need to understand, again, just listen to me carefully. You have to compare zero point 0.3 and 89 over 100, right? You cannot compare them because they are in the different types. One of them is decimal, one of them is fraction. If you want to compare them, they both must be in the same form, right? Either convert the decimal into fraction, or either convert the fraction into decimal, right? So the fraction is 89 over 100, and you can write 89 by 100 as, because you have two decimal places, so that would be, you need to move decimal point two places left, so that is 0.89. Now you have to compare. 0.3, just look at the first digit, zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.8. 0.3 is less than 0.89. Got it? 0.3 is less than 0.89. Let's just start with the test questions. Let's see how do we compare, right? Okay, which sign makes the statement true? You have zero point 0.7 and 0 points and 788 divided by 1000, right? So you can not compare them until they're in the same form, right? So you have to convert that fraction into decimal, right? The fraction is 788 over 1000. You have three zeros. You need to move decimal point from here to three digits left, 1 2 3, why? Because because the fraction have three zeros, right? So that is 0.788. Now you have to compare zero point 0.7 and 0.788. So here you have 0.70, 0.7, 0.7, that is same. Now you can convert the second one. 0 is less than 8, that means 0.70 is less than 0.788. Everyone, can you see my screen properly? That means zero point 0.7 is less than 0.788. The correct option is less. There must be problem with your internet connection, right? So you can just check your internet connection, reload the page. Which sign makes the statement true? Which is the correct option? 6 by 10 is greater than zero point 0.2 or less than zero point 0.2? Greater it is, right? The correct option is 6 over 10 is greater than 0.2. Greater it is. Okay. Which sign makes the statement true? 0.3. You have to compare it to 89 over 100. So which is the option? 0.3 is less than 89 over 100, right? Which sign makes the statement true? 297 over 1000 and 0.9. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is 0.29 is less than, less, how greater, less it is. When you convert 297 over 1000 to fractional form, it would be 0.297. You have to compare. So 0.297 is less than 0.9. The correct option is less than, right? The correct option is less than. Which sign makes the statement true? 97 over 100 and 0.9. So which is the correct option? 97 over 100 is greater than 0.9. Which sign makes the statement true? 0.7. You have to compare it to 6 over 10. So which is the correct option? 0.7 is greater than 6 over 10. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, and the next lesson is that is number sequences involving decimals, right? Okay, fill in the missing number to complete the pattern. So you're given the pattern with the decimals. You have to see how do you complete the number sequences with the decimals, right? So you can see here 5.75, 6, missing one, then 6.50, then missing one, then 7. Basically, you have to see how the pattern is growing. The next number is how much greater than the previous one, right? So just look at the first two digits, that is 5.75 and 6. You need to subtract the second one, 5. Just subtract 6 minus 5.75. That is 0.25. That means the pattern is growing by 0.25. You need to add 0.25 for each next number. So 6 plus 0.25 is 6.25. 6.50 plus 0.25 is 6.75. So the missing numbers are 6.25 and 6.75. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, fill in the missing numbers to complete the pattern. 5.75, 6, missing 1, 6.50, missing and 7. Basically, you have to see how the pattern is growing. This way you can find the missing number. And how do you know the pattern is growing? You have to just look at that's the one we did in the tutorial. If you look at the first two digits, 5.75 and 6, right? You can subtract the first one out of the second one. 6 minus 5.75 is 0.25. That means the pattern is growing by. Yes, that is 6.25 and 6.75. Option number 1 is the correct option. You need to add 0.25 to each next number, right? Okay, the next one is 0.25, 0.30, missing 1, 0.40, missing 1, and 0.50. So, which is the correct option? The pattern is growing by zero point 0.5, right? Yes, that is 0.35 and 0.45 are the missing one. Got it? Very good. Okay, fill in the missing numbers to complete the pattern. So, which is the correct option? Yes, that is 2.44 and 2.46. Option number 2 is the correct option. Fill in the missing numbers to complete the pattern. So, which is the missing one? That is 5, 2.44. The pattern is growing by 20. So, that is 5 and 5.60. Very good. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, and the next lesson is repeating decimals. Okay, which fraction is about equal to 0.167, right? So rewrite each fraction as a decimal. 1 over 9 means you can write it as 0.11111. Then 1 over 3 means you can write it as 0.333. That is the repeating decimal. That means the number are, that is a continuous number. Same number is repeating again and again, right? 1 over 8 means 0.125. So which fraction is about equal to 0.167, right? Almost equal. That is 0.166. Got it? 0.166 is closer to 0.167, right? Let's just start with the test questions. How do you write 1 by 6 as a decimal? So, which is the correct option? That's the one we just did on the tutorial. So, how do you write 1 by 6? That is option number 1 is the correct option. It must be 0.16. Which fraction is equal to 0.11111? Now you're given all the decimals. You need to convert them in the decimal form, and then you have to have to check, right? So you can convert 0.3 1 by 3, then you have 1 by 9, then you have 1 by 10, and then you have 1 by 6, right? That is option number 1. 0.111 is close to 1 by 3. 1 by 9. Oh, that is 0.1 over 9 it is. Sorry, I forgot 3 by 3 times 3 is 9. Here it is, right? And that is 0.111. Okay, how do you write 0.16 as a fraction? You can see a small bar on the 6, right? That means this is the repeating number. 6 is repeating again and again, right? So now you are given, how do you write 0.16 as a fraction? 0.166 in the fractional form, you can write it as 1 over 6 it is. The correct option is 1 over 6. Very good. decimal number is equal to 1 over 3, which is the correct option? That is 0.33, right? Option number 1 is the correct option. 0.33 it is. You can divide and check, right? How do you write 1 over 0.16 as a fraction, which is the correct option? That is 1 over 6. The correct option is 1 over 6. Can you guys please stop talking? Focus on the lesson we're working on. You guys are just here to chit chat. Which fraction is equal to 0.111? Which is the correct option? Yes, that equals 1 over 9 it is. That is 1 over 9, right? The correct option is 1 over 9. 0.111 is close to 1 over 9. Got it? Not 1 by 3. How do you write 1 by 3 as a decimal? So which is the correct option? How do you write? That is 0.333. Very good. The correct option is 0.33. The next one is how do you write 1 by 9 as a decimal? So which is the correct option? 1 by 9 equals, yes, that is 0.1. Got it? The next one is which fraction is about equal to 0.167? Which is the correct option? One over 6? No, that is close to 1 over. Mm, yes, close to 1 over 6. Very good. Okay, which decimal number is equal to 1 over 9? Which is the correct option? That is 0.111. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 5 math. The lesson we're working on is decimals, and the chapter we're working on is decimals, and the lessons we have covered today are Okay, the lessons we have covered today are compare decimals and fractions on number line, compare decimals and fractions, number sequences involving decimals and repeating decimals, right? So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. That is your homework until next session, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9, right? So if you have any questions related to the lessons we have just covered, you can join me in the interactive session that would be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10, right? You can please ask question if you have any. No questions? Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.